That's me. You might be wondering how I got myself into this particular situation. Well, truth be told, I just woke up one morning and decided to let the brainworms win. You see, for too long now, I believe that we've had it too good when it comes to Doom mods. There's just quality additions left, right, and center. And as nice as that is, dealing with good quality mods that work nice together will inevitably lead to a slight loss of perspective. So, in an effort to re-establish a more sensible baseline, I have endeavored to curate a ruined, scuffed, cursed, however you want to describe it, collection of Doom mods that aren't completely unplayable in combination, but are just awful enough in concert to shake me out of my current state of complacency and remind myself just how good we have it. For this particular project, I decided to build my list of mods layer by layer. And in terms of foundation for this particular project, I decided to start with a pair of mods, that being GZChaos and Doom 3D. You can probably guess at a glance what Doom 3D does to Doom just by looking at the footage here. It replaces that original 2D sprite work with these just comprehensively janky 3D models. The kind of thing that, in all honesty, wouldn't have looked too out of place with the likes of 5th gen games consoles. I won't lie, there is some degree of charm to it. Some of the weapon models did cause a smile to crease up on my face, and the chunky gore from jibbing enemies is a welcome addition. But, as we can all tell, it's nowhere near awful enough an experience to justify alone. So that's where GZChaos comes in. GZChaos is a timed randomizer. After a certain interval, a new random effect from an ever-increasing list will be applied to your gameplay. These can range from mild annoyances to complete arbiters of chaos to the occasional actual benefit. But crucially, more often than not, the effect will suck. Now, as amusing as it might be to have a game of Pong playing out on your HUD or having your level drenched in a Superman 64 style P Super, things could assuredly be worse. Starting with the enemies. That's where I feel a mod by the name of Champions could be a good pick. Champions is a mod that adds additional variants on top of existing enemies, 17 in total, and this can range from enemies with 2 times the health, enemies that will resurrect if you don't destroy the corpse, enemies that explode, teleport around, dash in your general direction, resurrect nearby foes, deal extra damage, all sorts of interestingly annoying stuff. There's even mutation types that will allow enemies to float, phase in and out of reality, and in some cases become boss variants of themselves, buffing nearby enemies and having nearby buffed enemies in turn buff the enemy that's doing the buffing. Sounds comprehensively awful to deal with. Perfect. So far we've touched up the enemies, the weapons, the way that all of these work, a few randomized effects on top. But how about the levels themselves? Well, an easy fix that comes swiftly to mind is turning on texture filtering. Because why would you want to look at that crisp pixel art of the original texture work when you can put a nice, smeary, blurry Vaseline filter over the top of everything? This is objectively a better way to experience Doom. It's clear as mud, but I don't know. The original textures, even with texture filtering on, just aren't cutting it. What about a HD texture pack? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Yep, that's making my eyeballs itch. That's the good stuff right there. Feel like at this point, we've got a pretty good brew going. Good mix of elements, but one thing still needs a bit of tweaking, and that is the standard HUD. This could easily be worse, and I can't think of any better recommendation to that effect than by applying the Ultimate Doom Visor mod. This is a helpfully modular mod that allows you to pick and choose various visual elements in order to get your ideal loadout. This is pretty much what you get with the base level, a nice extra layer of visual clutter that only gets worse as you take damage or deal damage to enemies, resulting in just blood splats everywhere, cracks in the glass, and if you so choose, a terrifying 3D mugshot of Doom Guy. Yes, it does reapply the helmet every time you pick up a new piece of armor. That isn't obtrusive in any way whatsoever. And god, just not being able to see as well just adds so much to the base experience here. It really does. Now, something that I forgot to mention with the Doom 3D mod earlier is the fact that it comes pre-packaged with a version of Tilt++. If you don't know what this is, it affects how movement works within Doom, allowing you to tweak it to feel however you want it to feel. So naturally, I whacked everything up to maximum, because, let's face it, it's not really a challenge making your way through these levels with all of these other effects applied, if you're not also fighting the urge to puke at the same time. From here on out, though, I feel like anything else that could be applied on top of this is more of like a seasoning, a drizzle of elements on top. For example, you could add the hit marker mod, because modern games have poisoned how I view video games, where I need to desperately know that my bullet did indeed strike an enemy. So that helps. Also, I can't help but feel that the original soundtrack for Doom 2 here is too nice to listen to. Mercifully, that is easily ruined thanks to the Dude music module. Dude is a mod that essentially mirrors Doom down the middle. So you can do that with textures, you can do that with the maps, and theoretically it does it with the music. Either way, it makes my ears want to bleed. An ideal addition for this particular project. It's going in. Now at this point, I'd want to just sit back and appreciate what we've created here. This is a stack of mods that are actually working quite reasonably well together. It's probably testament to how modular you can get with what you choose to stack when it comes to modding Doom. Granted, things aren't always as compatible as I'd like them to be, but still, it's testament to the versatility of Doom modding that you can go as far as you can in the pursuit of foolish endeavors such as this. Now, in this form, I'd say that this collection of mods is as ruined, as scuffed as I personally would want it to be. I like the way this sucks. That said, it's worth exploring your boundaries, pushing beyond them, and seeing just how much shit you can tolerate. So I decided to add a mod called Run For It to the mix. This gives things legs. Because yes, I do indeed crave the exhilaration of having to chase down my own ammunition, of having to run away from ambulatory fireballs, and, of course, trying to avoid striking a rogue nukage barrel that strayed into my line of fire. Now, this mod wasn't especially compatible with all that came before. The Run For It mod is reliant on some things being 2D sprites, so that breaks a few things with the Doom 3D mod, largely in regard to the weapon roster, where instead of the 3D variant, you'll be instead stuck with the original 2D sprite. And with that, I feel like I can sit back and enjoy the satisfaction of a game well ruined. Nah, I'm just kidding, there's one more I can add. Say hello to the fisheye post-process mod. You know all those games that have gone with the body cam style of late? Yeah. Now you get to enjoy it with Doom. Can't you just feel the realism oozing out of the screen? Doesn't it just want to make your stomach flip? It's amazing, really, what you can do with Doom these days. Truly, a carnival of wonders and horrors in equal measure. But honestly, this is just a taste. If you're new to Doom modding, trust me, things can get worse. But it's all limited by one thing, and that is your imagination. Well, that and the ability to actually sniff out where you'd locate most of these mods, but still, I hope this has been an eye-opener, a stomach churner, and a reminder that as you lay your head down tonight for a peaceful night's sleep, know that these mods are out there, and they're waiting for you. It's just a matter of time. And yes, that is a threat. Anyway, feel free to give me money on Patreon. These people have, and I'm sure they regret every waking moment. And you can too. Other than that, feel free to like, subscribe, yell at me in the comments for inflicting such things on your eyes. And until next time, this has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.